Hi there, my name is Cynthia Wakeo. I am the Communication and Events Manager at Corporate Staffing Services. Today we're going to be talking about how HR can get a job, or rather the best ways HR professionals can get a job. And I am joined by our head HR consultant, Mr. Perminus Wainaina, who is going to be taking us through the topic. Karibu sana, Perminus.
Thank you, Cynthia, for having me.
So start us off by telling us the type of HR jobs available in the Kenyan market.
Now, when I started my HR career, uh, well, I started as a consultant, so which is different from looking for a job. But I've met so many HR professionals who, it's normally assumed that simply because you're in HR, you should be good at this. You should be knowing how to go about getting yourself hired because you're the one who hire people every day.
Yes.
But unfortunately, that is not the case. So you'll find, just like many other professionals out there, we are taught the technical skills, but no one really sits us down to teach us on how do we market ourselves.
Yes.
Yeah, because beyond the qualifications, beyond you having the skills, how are you able to market yourself? Yeah. So to answer your question is, I would say the jobs are available depends on the level that you are at. So for example, if you are starting, you'd obviously go for HR assistant, HR officer, or even HR internship. But then the higher you grow, you become a HR officer, you become a HR manager, and the ultimate is becoming a HR business partner, where now you support the company at a strategic level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as you've mentioned, HRs are used to, being on the other side of the table. And in your experience as a recruiter, what are the common mistakes you see HR professionals doing when looking for a job?
There are two mistakes. Number one is in terms of skill set. And here you'll find either they've specialized in only one area, and that really can affect. So
Yes.
what do I mean? For example, here you are, you've begun your career, and let's say you are working for us here at Corporate Staffing, and we offer various services. So we offer recruitment, we offer HR support, we offer trainings, and you'll find initially your job, you might have been hired as a recruiter, but you only focus there. So at the end of the day, you find you've not gotten skills. You don't know how to train. You don't know how to do performance management. You can't do a HR policy, from scratch. So you find specialization can come in between you getting to that next level. When you're starting, it's okay to learn. You move to another company, you learn something else. But then again, the higher you advance in your career, you need to consolidate your experience. Yeah, because the more skills you have, the better. Remember, many firms, especially, they will not hire 2 or 3 HR managers. They only hire one. So they need you to be proficient. They don't need you to be an expert in all areas because you can always bring outsource. For example, they don't need you to be really good at training. You can always outsource training. But do you know how to conduct a training needs analysis? So that now when you're calling someone like me, Perminus, you can be able to say, this is what we need for our organization. So to say number one is just specializing in one area and not having a breadth of experience in other areas. And number two is how they package themselves. Because HR, we get CVs every day. We analyze CVs every day. But have you ever spared a few minutes to look at your own CV and see how you're marketing yourself? And fortunately, even HRs, they fall into that same mistake where the CV does not represent who they are.
Yeah.
It doesn't package them. Yeah.
Well, that's quite interesting because, you'd expect a HR to actually know.
Yes, there's
Yeah.
a Swahili proverb that says mganga hajigangi, something like a doctor does not treat themselves.
Yeah.
And so it happens even in HR.
Yeah.
We are qualified, we have the skills, but we don't take time to ask ourselves, how am I packaging myself? How am I selling myself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for employers, at the end of the day, they're looking for value. So what is this value that they're looking at an HR professional?
Very good question. So remember, at the end of the day, a HR is a representative. They act as a bridge between the employee and the management. So a company wants employee issues to be taken care of, whether it's from where do we hire this staff? That's where recruitment comes in.
Yeah.
Where it's the day-to-day management of the employees, to empowering the staff to be more productive, to making sure that the company is meeting its goals and objectives. So HR, the work of HR is quite broad because they should be able to plug in themselves Even in financials, HR has a say. Because, for example, if HR recruits all manner of people who are not required in the company could be doing very well, but now the money is going away in terms of we have a larger workforce that we need.
Yeah.
So HR is really integral in when it comes to the company success, and therefore the HR work is it goes beyond people management. The work of HR is to make sure that the company succeeds by advising management.
Yeah. You mentioned HR being a broad field. Now, for an HR looking for a job, what are the must-haves to have, to get the best jobs out there?
So I would say if you are looking for an entry-level job, so I would say HR, any skill you have can really help, whether it's customer service, whether it's record keeping, at that basics level, any skill you have is okay. So my answer is not for the people who are really starting out. My answer is if you've been in HR for 3, 4, 5 years, what are these skills that you need to have to get to that next level? Yeah.
Yes.
So the must-have skills are, I would say, number 1, performance management. Number 2, training. Number 3, employee welfare. Another one is HR documentation. So whether it's policies and procedures, you must also be very competent when it comes to the labor laws. Yeah. And lastly, it goes without saying, recruitment. Yeah. So those are the main areas. And I need to mention at this point that we do offer a course, Master HR Skills course, whereby you find if you feel that you're lacking in any of these areas, then you can come join us for our course and we'll be able to teach you, because we've seen there's a gap. You find someone graduated, they've been working for this organization, but they are not exposed. They don't know the labor laws. They don't know how to set up a performance management system. They've never been able to be taught how to come up with a HR policy. Yeah, so when you attend this course, you'll be able to master all the key skills that are required for you to succeed in HR.
Yeah. So let's talk about where to get now HR jobs. What are these channels one can use?
That's a very good question. So you find when it comes to HR opportunities, it's just like any other jobs out there.
Yeah.
So my first advice is, how strong is your network? The reality is over 40% of the jobs, they are gotten through networks. They are never advertised. And you being in HR, you know that, because whenever you have a vacancy, what do? We ask the people who are close to us.
Yes.
This is the JD, share it with your friends. Yeah. So number 1 is who is in your network.
Yeah.
So it could be your former employer, it could be the people you meet, interact with on a day-to-day basis. Don't ignore them.
Yes.
Yeah. The second option is obviously people like us, the recruiters. Ask yourself, do you have a relationship with recruiters? So it doesn't hurt. Visitors, get to know who we are, what we do, visit our website, see what we have to offer. Yeah, because over 70% of the jobs, those are the two options that apply. Number 1 is networking, and number 2, many companies now, they're outsourcing their recruitment. And who are they using? It's us, the recruitment firms, the HR firms. Yeah. So before you think about the websites or even cold calling, that is you sending CVs, the last two can be very frustrating.
Yeah.
And the reason why they are frustrating, and the reason why sometimes we feel that they don't work, is because of the competition. The competition is so intense. By the time you see this job advert on the website, other 1,000 or 2,000 people have seen the ad. And they're also applying, they're targeting the same job. So can you look at the success rate? But if I hold your hand, Cindy, I tell you, okay, my friend is looking for a HR, go talk to them. Go present your CV. Maybe it's only you and maybe another person you're competing against. That you can see why the success rate is high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also to mention LinkedIn, maybe?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
LinkedIn also is big.
Yes.
So before you think about websites where you don't have a relationship, LinkedIn, especially if you are connect and you keep in touch, I think, yes, you brought up a very important aspect, that LinkedIn is really making a difference.
Yeah. And finally, what advice would you give to an HR looking for a job?
If you are watching this video, my advice to any HR who's watching us is, number 1, make sure that you don't focus so much on getting papers. Focus on getting the skills and the experience, because that's what will make the difference. Employers, just like we go for skills. It's not so much about qualifications, because you could be having a ton of papers. You could be having the MBAs, you could be having certificates, but at the end of the day, what value are they adding? So that's number 1. Number 2 is how you package yourself. So indeed, your CV does make a lot of difference, because at the end of the day, HR, just like any other career, is competitive. And the only way to stand out, the only way I'll be able to differentiate you from another candidate is the way you're packaging yourself. And that is to stay relevant. And this is where the short courses come in. Keep yourself updated with the labor laws. Attend our short course on master HR skills. Because when you have skills, then you can be able to sell yourself. Yeah. Otherwise, I like giving this example of the big companies. The reason why they are big, the reason why they are where they are, is because they invest. They invest in marketing, and we keep seeing their billboards. We keep seeing they keep advertising in newspapers, and that's the only way they remain relevant. So even when it comes to us as HR professionals, we shouldn't forget that. Yeah.
A value makes you stand out at the end of the day.
Yes, exactly.
All right, we should write you a check for this.
Yes, you should. You should. Please do. Yes.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you too.
Thank you so much for watching the video. It is my hope that you've learned something from it. For more information about the Master HR Skills course that we offer at Corporate Staffing, please click on the link below. For more tips on your HR career growth, please subscribe, share, and like the channel. Thank you, and see you next time.